What I do realize, though, is that as of right now, only one Indiana Fever game has been moved to the United Center. Angel Reese is upset once more, and this time it's about how her team, the Chicago Sky, completely ignored her and threw her under the bus. She asked reporters, obviously perplexed as to why her own team doesn't receive the same star treatment. But let's face it, it's pretty simple. People are flocking to see Caitlin Clark and not her. And that's the kind of reality that hits harder than when a rookie enters the league and immediately breaks attendance records. Teams scramble to find larger arenas just to accommodate the crowd. That's not hype, that's business. Last season, Caitlin Clark didn't just fill Gainbridge Fieldhouse, she broke it wide open, drawing in nearly 341,000 fans, an all-time franchise record. The Chicago Sky, even with Angel Reese, didn't sniff that number. United Center will also host 2 NBA games for the first time this season. The Sky announced that their matchups hosting the Indiana Fever will be moved from Windrush to the UC, which has roughly double the capacity. However, it appears that the Chicago Sky have finally done what we have been requesting, which is to schedule the games against the Fever at the United Center. In case you were unaware, the United Center is the largest collegiate basketball arena in the nation, and both of the home games against the Fever have been scheduled there. Let's talk about this United Center situation. The Chicago Sky made headlines when they announced that they would only be moving 2 games for the 2025 season to the enormous 21,000-seat arena, and it just so happens that both games are against the Indiana Fire. The front office is clearly stating who the real attraction is with Caitlin Clark coming to town, and all these teams are going to capitalize on that. It's just the nature of the business at this point, and one fan is saying, "Let's go Fever taking over the United Center. I can't wait." The Angel Reese effect? No, they know better than to leave free money on the table when the face card comes to town, because we remember the last time Caitlin Clark was there, the arena erupted, and the Sky played the entire 2024 season at Windrush Arena, which maxes out at a little over 10,000 seats, which includes every home game that Angel Reese played. They never felt the need to move venues, not even when Reese was allegedly lighting up the league with her dominance on the rebounds and her TikTok fame. However, now that Caitlin Clark is coming to town, it appears that the Chicago Sky have had to move 2 of their home games to a larger basketball facility. I'm sure that this is the Angel Reese effect, and she even told me right here that it's not just one other player. Adam Fox, the president of Sky, attempted to spice it up by claiming that this move was about rewarding fans' passion. That sounds cute, but if it were really about Sky fans, you'd think they'd upgrade for more than 2 games. In reality, though, it's about packing the house when Caitlin Clark, one of the hottest tickets in the NBA, takes the court. She is returning to Chicago after Chicago welcomed her so warmly last year, throwing a Barbie night for her arrival, giving her pink towels and her autographs. How will Chicago welcome Caitlin Clark next year? How are they going to top Barbie night in a 9,000-seat arena? Well, let's move Barbie night to a 21,000-seat arena, and let's not pretend that this isn't a wise financial decision. The United Center isn't just bigger, it's more profitable, and the demand is there, but only when Caitlin Clark is there. Caitlin Clark is putting butts in seats, and Angel Reese is still wondering why her average stat line isn't packing arenas. The league has spoken, and the numbers don't lie. This is the passion that the Indiana Fever Caitlin Clark has. Look around the WNBA, you'll notice a familiar trend. The Washington Mystics, Las Vegas Aces, Atlanta Dream Dallas Wings, and Connecticut Sun have all made the same calculated decision to move their games against the Indiana Fever to larger arenas. If you're wondering if this is just a coincidence of scheduling, it's not. It's about one player, Caitlin Clark, and Fever games being moved to larger venues on the road is common at this point in time. We see it happen quite frequently whenever that Fever show comes to town, but in this instance, it's interesting given the opponent and the venue. The online response, well, let's say that fans aren't exactly subtle about what this really means. They're asking why only Clark games are receiving the VIP treatment, and people are beginning to notice that Angel Reese's matchups aren't as exciting. Not a single one of her games has resulted in a venue upgrade, and fans are wondering if Angel is really as popular as she keeps telling us. My goodness, America's team versus a team that has the scourge of society. Oh God, oh man. Quote, they watch for me too. The irony of it all is that Angel Reese went out of her way to position herself as Caitlin Clark's equal in popularity and impact throughout the entire season. She pushed the narrative that she was equally responsible for the WNBA's newfound attention, even saying that people were tuning in for her rather than just Caitlin Clark. However, it's obvious that someone forgot to inform the ticketing department, because when it comes time to pack the house, all roads lead to Barbie night. We're moving to the United Center, which is significant because it will be the first time that WNBA teams have ever played there. The games on Saturday, June 7th and Sunday, July 27th have been rescheduled, but they will be playing at the largest arena in the NBA that I believe can accommodate more than twice as many people as the Sky's typical home arena. Of course, this is a no-brainer for a lot of reasons, and now it's getting really awkward because when the Sky announced that they would be hosting the Fever at the United Center twice, you'd think they were promoting the championship, but they're just doing what the numbers demand. The real issue is with Reese. If she really had the same pull, wouldn't the Sky have moved at least one game for her? Wouldn't her own team be using her name to fill more seats? Yes, I want you all to understand that Angel continues to try to write the story of her being a co-star in the league's rise, but the receipts tell a different story while she's busy promoting herself in interviews and viral TikToks. And the rest of the WNBA is quietly following the only name that consistently produces results, and that's Caitlin Clark. They will say this because of Angel Reese, but they can't say this is because of Angel Reed, because for the simple reason that many of their games would have been moved to larger arenas. They can't say, I know people want to and I know people are mad about this, bro. Like, y'all shouldn't be mad about this, bro. Like, this is just the reality of the situation. You're not a hater, you're not none of that. Let's put it simply, if you say that Angel Reese isn't as big as Caitlin Clark because she's not, guys, that's what's going on the scoreboard. Selling out in a matter of hours, but that's not happening at all. The arena remains the same, and the crowd sizes remain average. Last year, when the Indiana Fever were in Chicago, many of us asked why they weren't putting this in the big arena. Are they really that obstinate that they're willing to just turn away money for a story? It seems like they looked at their year-end report and said, you know what, slam shut in 2025, we're going to be in the United Center. Compare that to the Fever's home crowd statistics, and it's game over in 2024. Indiana didn't just break a record, they obliterated, crushing the WNBA's previous single-season record. By the Fever will be over 200,000 higher than the next highest attendance in league history, according to Agronomics, my friend. The fact is that Indiana reached the 20,000 attendance milestone not once, twice, but 3 times during that season, hacking arenas like it was a playoff series in July. Meanwhile, in Chicago, the largest crowd the Sky has ever managed didn't occur during Angel's rookie campaign. Nope, that record dates all the way back to 2001. A jaw-dropping 36%. That old record had been held since 2001, long before Angel was even considering nil deals or pro contracts. Back in 2016, when Angel was still in high school and probably still learning how to bank a free throw, over 16,000 people showed up to watch the Sky lose to the Sparks. Since then, crickets, guys, I'm telling you, when Kayla Clark comes to town, put it in the big arena because she is the box office, and it will be bony big for not just the ticket sales, merchandise sales, concession stands, parking, dude, and they are racking in money from every area. Of course, the Chicago Sky, oh fine, I suppose I'll milk that well until it's dry. There is a very thin line between hate and facts, and what I think is the case is that there was incremental growth in the WNBA compared to the exponential growth we are seeing. Before the 2023 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% in viewership from 2022 to 2023, but with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it has grown by 400%. The real spotlight is that Clark isn't just filling arenas, she's redefining what WNBA success looks like. Angel can continue posting and speculating, but the fans have already made up their minds. When you look at the actual numbers, players, the contrast gets downright hilarious. Every time Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese shared the court last season, ticket demand skyrocketed. We're not just talking about a few dollars more. Tickets were being resold for thousands as fans fought to see the face-off live. However, when Reese played games that didn't feature Clark crickets, those ticket prices didn't budge much, and the urgency simply wasn't there. It's like the hype walked out with Clark. If you want to see a Sky game next season, you can find seats for extremely low prices, like last-minute concert tickets for a band that no one really listens anymore. Good luck obtaining a Fever ticket. They've been sold out for months. Let me tell you about Caitlin Clark. He has brought so much attention to women's basketball that it's incredible. He demonstrated how in the 5 days leading up to the draft, she made the WNBA more money than they would have in the following 5 years without her. The attendance statistics alone tell the story. Angel Reese's games drew an average of 9,000 fans last season, which isn't bad until you realize that she and the Fever were drawing in almost 17,000 per game, which is nearly double. Let's be clear, this isn't about criticizing Angel's game. She has talent and fans, but when someone keeps saying that they're just as important to the growth of the sport as the receipts show, it becomes difficult to ignore the gap. You can't claim to be the face of the league and then struggle to fill half as many seats as the person you're competing against. The Fever brought 36% more fans on the road with her than any other WNBA team. I'm not sure if you're allowed to, but as far as I'm aware, no other Angel Reese games have been rescheduled because of the potential attendance for said game. I'm just pointing that out because I've been told that Angel Reese told us it was because of her too, and they're coming because of me, or are they really Chicago? When your bottom line is on the line, you follow the money, and at the moment those dollars are flocking to Caitlin Clark like moths to a flame if one. The Washington Mystics didn't just upgrade, they moved their Fever game to Baltimore's CFG Bank Arena, which can accommodate almost 15,000 fans. Connecticut's Sun also moved their matchup with the Celtics to Boston's TD Garden, where the Celtics play. I don't see other teams doing this for other players because they know that Caitlin Clark is bringing the bacon. I don't see other teams doing this for other players because they know that she's bringing the bacon. The CC hype is real, and these financial decisions are driven by the Caitlin Clark effect. Stop it, Caitlin Clark effect, go. The best part is that Clark predicted this change nearly a year ago, saying things like, "I'm surprised we're not playing at the United Center." I thought that would have been really good for the game, and really good for all the women's basketball fans in Chicago, so maybe there's a conflict of some kind that I'm not aware of, but that's a little higher than my pay rate, but I'm excited. One night after one of her games, she made a casual remark about how women's basketball could grow in larger arenas. There was no ego or demands, just a reasonable comment that turned into a blueprint that teams all over the league are rushing to follow. The financial impact is incredible. The 2 United Center games against the Fever are more than just good PR. They're worth an additional $4 million compared to what Windrust Arena would bring in. That's not a cherry on top, it's a financial lifeline. When league executives look at these numbers, they see a long-term business opportunity rather than a passing fad. Franchises that previously operated on thin margins now have a clear path to financial growth, so the question isn't whether they should take advantage of Caitlin Clark's enormous influence. This isn't hype. The math says that she isn't just changing women's basketball, she's saving it. Remember, the Washington Mystics also moved 2 of their games yesterday. I wonder if those were Angel Reese's games, but they weren't. They were Indiana Fever games. In sharp contrast, Angel Reese's off-court endeavors paint a different picture. Her involvement in the unmatched 3x3 league didn't break viewership records, and Clark's presence led to venue changes across multiple cities. Reese's star power hasn't translated into comparable commercial success. She is simply not as successful as Caitlin Clark. Yes, she is an incredible player, but she isn't even close to being on Caitlin's level. She's not on her level financially, she's not on her level impact-wise, and she most definitely isn't on her level on the basketball court. Since Caitlin won Rookie of the Year last year, fans' reactions to these venue changes have been predictably divided. While Reese defenders have cried favoritism, supporters of Clark have highlighted the undeniable economics. One viral tweet perfectly captured the debate, showing how they never moved Angel's games to larger arenas when she was breaking records, but the minute Clark comes to town, they suddenly need 20,000 seats. This viewpoint ignores the fact that ticket demand, not record-breaking alone, drives these business decisions. decisions. Another fan replied, maybe, Angel wouldn't have to worry about venue sizes if she concentrated more on honing a dependable jump shot and less on who was receiving attention. This sentiment highlights the wider benefit of expanding venues to accommodate growing interest, as we're attracting more and more fans to this league. Such comments reflect the intense scrutiny and differing opinions among the fan base. A Chicago local offered a more balanced view. I've been a Sky fan for years, but couldn't get tickets to the Fever games last season, but now with United Center, I finally can. How is giving more fans access to women's basketball a bad thing? Perhaps you've never watched the NBA before, and it kinda blows you away at times. While Angel portrays herself as an equal draw, basketball experts advise that Angel would benefit from embracing the competitive nature of the league and concentrating on improving her game rather than drawing comparisons. The question isn't whether people watch for Angel either, but rather whether she'll use this as motivation to get better, rather than as fuel for complaints. Sometimes the hardest truth to accept is the one that's reflected in box scores and attendance figures. Do you agree? If so, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and turn on all alerts to ensure you don't miss anything.